Well, my name is Michael Carsmaker, and I am 37 years old, and I was born 3 months premature. And when I was born, the doctor said to my mom, just so you know, you're not going to get a live baby because we don't think this baby's going to live, just so you know. And my mom was bleeding out, and it was not a good situation. So when I was born and I was crying, the doctor said, oh my goodness, we have a live baby. And so then the doctors came and rushed in, and they said, we need help here. We got a live baby here. And then the doctor said to my mom, you know what? Your son is going to be a fighter, and he's going to fight his entire life, but he's going to do well because he's a fighter. So I this morning has been wonderful. I just want to thank the speakers so much. You've inspired me. You have a lot of thoughts going through my brain. So thank you guys very much for what you are doing, what you can continue to do. Thank you. Now I want to introduce a friend, a mentor, someone who I really care a lot about. He is a great leader. He has been with Goodwill for 10 years. He is caring. He is compassionate. He is passionate. And he just doesn't talk the talk. He walks the walk. And I just want to tell a quick story. I've been working for Goodwill for less than a week, and I was at my desk, and Dale comes by and says, "Hi, Michael. How's it going? I hear you're doing a great job. Keep it up." And he left to do his duties. And I had to think, what just happened here? Here is the president and CEO of a company who when I picture presidents and CEOs, I picture them, on the 200th floor with security guards and, or stormtroopers or something. And here is the president and CEO coming. First, he knows my name. Two, he talks to me, and I thought, wow. From that day on, I thought, you know what? I will run through a wall for that man. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you the amazing, the president and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Alberta, Dale Monaghan.
Sir, you want this or do you want me to do it?
If you, is this on? Check. If you can give that to Bean, if you don't mind, or you can decide. The reason I wanted to give the clicker to Bean is we heard about that everybody has unique abilities and that eyesight can be a disability. So I didn't have my contacts in here this morning. I wouldn't be able to see the length of my arm. But the fact that it is very dark up here, bright out there, I can't read anything anyway on these cards. So, but in appreciating that we all have unique abilities, I was thinking, how do I hold a mic, speaking cards, and the little thing that advances the slides? So I thought, well, I could give it to Bean, my good friend Bean over there. Sophie, you're in the room here, I think, our incredible director of people and culture. She always reminds me of head of HR, what you can and cannot say and do. So when I look over your way at a very pretty person and wink, Sophie, I'm not winking for reasons of inappropriateness. She's going to advance the slides. And today I can get away with winking at Bean as a result. Well, I don't know where to go from here. I wasn't aware that Michael, my good friend and my mentor, was going to introduce me. So I'm a little thrown back. I also realized that I'm the last speaker between you and lunch. And we've been talking about food so much. I'm a little worried that some of you hungry souls might be a little hungrier than usual. So looking forward to sharing with you some things. We talked about food and fish cakes, Mighty Quinn. I'll never think differently or the same about challenges in the future. I just have to close my eyes and think of my favorite food. My favorite food is fried oysters on toast. Why fried oysters? Does anyone like fried oysters on toast? Do you, Quinn? Right on? A couple do? Okay, why? The year was 1942 in the Pacific Ocean, and there were 800 sailors on Christmas Eve in the theater of war in the Pacific Ocean on the HCMS Uganda, a battle cruiser just below a battleship in terms of size, so a big ship doing some important things in the ocean. And on that battle cruiser was again 800 seamen. I don't know if seaman's the right word, sea person. It might be the more appropriate term, or we'll just say sailor, 800 sailors. It was Christmas Eve, and they had nothing for Christmas dinner but oysters. And somebody decided if you put them on toast and had some rum and some other things, it might be a good evening. So they had a great Christmas dinner of oysters on toast in the Pacific Ocean, somewhere in the dark between Asia and North America, and that was that evening. And why is that so special to me? One of those sailors was my grandpa. And this is the 80th anniversary. I promised myself I wouldn't do this. Michael, you got me all flustered starting here. This is the 80th anniversary. Our family gathers every Saturday before Christmas, no matter where we are. And we sing Christmas carols, celebrate the season, and we eat oysters on toast in celebration of Grandpa. So that's my favorite food. Quinn, thanks very much for the opportunity to talk about that. I have a new good friend right here. Haven't had the pleasure of meeting, but I'm going to make life very difficult for him. He's been doing a great job videoing the speakers. I was going to go way over there and hand the thing to Quinn. Then I was going to go way over here and talk to Michael about something, but we had that pleasure of interaction. But I want you, so here we go. I'm going to make life difficult for my friend here. Michael, every day at Goodwill, I always ask you, how are you doing? What's your answer?
Peachy.
Peachy. Look at that. In the theme of food, we're covering peachy. We'll talk about a little bit my story a little bit. It threads well into some of the things we've talked about. Then I want to speak about or share a couple things, reflection on our wonderful speakers. I feel very overwhelmed following those three incredible speakers. So one of the things I've learned at Goodwill as a good president, you learn to delegate. So I have some team members here that might take my meeting notes. There's Michelle over there, one of our VPs. Heather's in the room. Sophie's here. So I'm not sure who's going to take over my presentation in the next 5 minutes, but I found it very overwhelming yet exciting to follow these incredible speakers. So thank you so much. Oh, we'll share a little bit about my story if you don't mind, Bean. I'm going to wink at you and not get arrested for that. Very proud before Goodwill to serve as CEO of the Mikisew group of companies. Has anyone ever heard of the Mikisew Cree First Nation? Headquartered in Fort Chipewyan, Treaty 8 territory. So I spent a lot of time serving the Mikisew Cree, 10 years actually. I was the longest serving executive non-Indigenous in their history. Very, very proud of that. I was mentored by Chief Archie Wakwin, who was born in a teepee on the Wood Buffalo National Park. Chief Archie, I still call him that. He's not chief officially anymore. When I have the pleasure of seeing Chief Archie, he mentored me for the decade that I was there. I also served under the first female Cree First Nation chief, Roxanne Marcel. I was very proud to, again, serve under her. Mikisew Group of Companies was a conglomerate of 8 companies, all committed to creating employment, job creation, and career development for Mikisew Cree First Nation members in Fort Chipewyan, Edmonton, and Fort McMurray. We had 8 companies, total annual activity of about $70 million in creating, again, opportunities. At the peak of our growth when I was there, we had 700 team members, about 90% were Mikisew Cree members. So that was prior to 2012. Then I had the opportunity to join this organization, Goodwill Industries of Alberta, where I've been proud to be the president and CEO for the last 10 years, working with incredible team members, many of whom are here. We now have 800 team members across Alberta, significant percentage of whom are those with disabilities and barriers to employment. We are now one of the largest employers in Alberta, and I believe Western Canada, of people with disabilities and barriers to employment. So we'll move on to the next one, Bean, if you don't mind. What is Goodwill? Who is Goodwill? A lot of you will know of the stores. We're very proud to have operations in Grand Prairie across the capital city region, including Spruce Grove, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, and Edmonton, all the way down to Calgary. Goodwill is a partner of a number of other Goodwills around the world. There are 160 Goodwills in 17 countries. We're all independent Goodwills. We're all nonprofit organizations registered in the province or state that we operate. Again, we operate in 17 countries. It's a conglomerate of 160 Goodwills who only share the name and the title. Other than that, we are based in the communities in the province or state that we exist, and we proudly serve those communities. We are, again, registered nonprofit society. Sometimes we're confused with Value Village. Another organization in the thrift space. Value Village is a for-profit based out of the United States, and again, a private company. We're a nonprofit. We were founded in 1902 by Edgar J. Helms. He was a Methodist minister in Boston, and he saw an opportunity. And that opportunity was a lot of things were going to landfill that he thought could be used in a better way. Well, in 1902, it wasn't televisions and Xboxes and stuff. It was more like clothing and furniture and such. So what he did is he created a small social enterprise. That social enterprise was one of which we hired persons with barriers, just call it barriers, to mine the landfill, take it to his church and mend and repair the clothing and the furniture, and then sell all that stuff to create the money for the employment for all that activity back upstream, as we'll call it. Again, in 1902, it was pretty small, pretty straightforward, but nonetheless an opportunity, not through government help or fundraising or otherwise, through the sale of used goods to create employment for people with barriers to employment. Started off very small. 100 and some years later, we are again part of a family of Goodwills around the world in 17 countries, and we're a $7 billion a year operation, all of it invested into creating opportunities for people with disabilities and barriers. We often say through the power of work and the dignity of a job, we are changing lives for the better, strengthening families and communities. So we're very proud of that. So if we'll advance, Bean, if you don't mind. Mentioned about that number of countries we're in. Keep going. This is what many of you know to be kind of what is Goodwill. This is an example of a couple stores. And the one on your right, it says Goodwill. We put people to work. Again, we very, very much focus and exclusively focus on changing lives through the dignity of a job and the power of work. We believe you can do a lot of things for a lot of people if you give them an opportunity to get up in the morning and go to work or train through a volunteer program, and many of which that's what we do as well. It's not just employment, it's volunteer opportunities as well. So again, we're very proud of our operations here in Alberta. We're one of the largest employers of persons with disabilities here in Alberta, and we're continuing to grow, and we're very proud of that. Bean, if you don't mind. We opened in 1963, so we'll be celebrating a big anniversary next year. And again, very proud to serve in the communities that we now operate. We're the only Goodwill in Western Canada. There are no Goodwills at this time in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. There are a number in Ontario and Quebec as well, across the United States and around the world. Inspiration. Who inspires me and why do I do what I do at Goodwill? Each and every day I wake up very excited to make a difference. I have my own personal chant as I go to work. It's all about, again, making a difference. I have a goal. I have 4 performance drivers. I also have my personal values, but one of my performance drivers is to exceed the expectations of a total stranger every day. Sometimes that's first thing on the freeway, where you wave at somebody excitedly to make their day. Sometimes it's at the end of the day in an elevator in a hospital, like when I was visiting my mom a few months ago and had an opportunity to see a beautiful Indigenous jacket on a lady, and we had the opportunity to have a conversation. I won't bore you with the details, but it was an opportunity that day, at the end of my day, to exceed the expectations of a total stranger. So who inspires me? We'll throw up some names. Got a couple more. There we go. You're doing a great job. You had no clue you'd be doing this, so thank you, Bean, very much. And actually, Bean inspires me too. In addition to who's on here, Chief Archie Walkwin, I wanted to appreciate Bean. The pleasure of meeting her a few years ago and touring her operation Ryu. And I brought my daughter, Becky, and I don't know if you remember when I brought her there. Becky was in her third-year university at the University of Kansas, on a sports scholarship. She had twice gone to the World Championships in softball, and that was the year she was going. She was stressed out being on Team Canada and the University of Kansas Jayhawks, the first Canadian ever recruited as a softball player to that particular program, and she was stressed beyond belief. And one of the days that I had an opportunity to take her around and try to calm her down a little bit, as her dad and such, former coach, was to go see Bean's operation, and she enjoyed it immensely. We drove away and she talked for hours. It was like 8 o'clock at night, you were closing. I'm sure till 10 or 11 o'clock she was talking about getting done university and coming and working for Bean. So she's not working for you today, but we would like to have that considered. She's actually flying this morning to Toronto for a big event that she is hosting this Thursday with her team from Calgary. She works for Canada's Sport Hall of Fame. And this Thursday they have a nationally broadcasted event taking place. And so she was inspired and calmed down through the opportunity to your organization. So I should have put your name up here too. You've heard of Michael. Michael and I are good friends. Michael is my mentor and a dear friend of mine at Goodwill. So we've talked a little bit about your story. I want to add on to that. I'm going to be careful of time here. Michael amazed me about a year and a half ago when you were practicing golf all around the windows of our front lobby. Very interesting. We have lots of big windows in our corporate office. Michael was going to Special Olympics or practicing towards in the game of golf, and he's a fantastic golfer. So here he is, if you can imagine this, with a headset on, a golf club, probably your 8-iron, because that's your favorite iron, if I recall, Michael. And he had Kleenex balls, and he was chipping onto the couch in our lobby as he was doing his work. And I thought, this is a great day in the world when a team member at Goodwill can practice to get ready to go to the Olympics and do his job all the while, taking care of business. And as I was talking to him and being excited about this, the phone rang. He says, "Excuse me, Dale, I'll be a minute." Push the button. "Good morning, Goodwill Industries of Alberta. How may I help you?" And "Yes, let me transfer you. You have an outstanding day. One moment, please." And he made the transfer off the keyboard. And I thought, I can't do that. But what a great day in an organization where a team member is practicing to go to his sport of choice, all the while being supported by an organization that does what we do. Second one is Tyrone. That's him on your left. It's a little small there. Tyrone works in Calgary. He's a donor attendant. He has worked on and off for Goodwill for a long time. He has so many challenges in life, I can't even begin to list what those challenges are. But nonetheless, every day he exceeds the expectations of wonderful donors, those people that bring in the household goods to make the magic of Goodwill take place. So that's Tyrone there again. No matter the day he's having, he always exceeds the expectations of a donor when it comes to the receipt of generosity. And Dee is on our right. Our right, if I turn that way. Dee's our store manager in Grand Prairie. She's an incredible leader at Goodwill. She's worked for about 6 years as our store manager in Grand Prairie. Before she worked at Goodwill, she was the general manager of Wholesale Sports. Before that, National Sporting Goods Company. I don't know if they were bought up by Cabela's or what went on there. But in Grand Prairie, she was hiring team members with disabilities at Wholesale Sports. We presented to her a very special award about 7 years ago at our big awards event in Grand Prairie, thanking her and appreciating her for being an employer of choice in the community. And after Wholesale, we went after her and got her on our team. So Dee is inspiring. She has her own unique abilities. She leads a team up there. It's an incredible operation in Grand Prairie, and it's a great example of a leader, again, navigating unique abilities and supporting those others with unique abilities and barriers as well. Next slide, if you don't mind. These are two Olympians. I spoke about Michael's journey to preparing for his activity in golf. On your right is Cheryl Bernard. She's the president and CEO of the Canada Sports Hall of Fame. She was captain or lead or skip of 2010 Team Bernard at the Olympics in Vancouver and came back to Calgary and has been inspiring people ever since then. She's an ambassador of Goodwill, and she's with Kelsey Wood. Kelsey used to work at our Chinook store in Calgary, and they, as Olympians, hammed it up at one of our events. very special with it. This is a very special slide to me and for Goodwill as well. It's always funny to have these two talk and banter and share their stories. Cheryl always mentions that Kelsey has 6 or 7 medals, and Kelsey always reminds her 7 medals she's won at the Olympics. Cheryl said, gosh, I just won 1 silver medal at the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. I guess I got 6 more to go. So these two are pretty neat, and they inspire me as well. Bean, if you don't mind. I'd like to share a story of Robert. It really summarizes what Goodwill stands for and what it's all about. Every year, Goodwill International selects the top achiever of the year globally. And Goodwill International 2 years ago selected Robert. Robert's story is a little hard on the heart, but it's inspiring nonetheless. And I'd like to share his story with you as a little bit of a background into the heartbeat of Goodwill and why we do what we do.
My favorite thing is cooking and baking. The baking has a touch to it. You gotta have the touch to make it come out right. I like one day own my own restaurant. That's my biggest goal, is to be someone and well respected instead of put down. And everybody at the Goodwill never once put me down. My name is Robert Frank. I'm a utility worker and a donation attendant. I've been there almost 5 years and loved every minute of it. I sweep, mop, organize. I'm good at organizing and just putting things in place. But everybody I work with at the Goodwill is very supportive with me. Yeah, reading and spelling disorder. That's all from the doctor said was from the abuse, from the damage at the back of the brain. I was badly abused growing up. I was beaten a lot because my mother could care less. She said to all of her people, I was her biggest mistake in life. Before I worked at the Goodwill, I was just like a co-check person. You had to sit there for hours and so on and nothing to do. I thought I could do more. Something told me to go to the Goodwill. I didn't know what it was, but I said, let's go here and see if I get a job.
Robert came to the store looking for a job. He just showed up and asked if we were hiring. He said, and I remember this very well, he said, I will give you my all every day. I saw Robert's struggles right away. He would have to ask people how to spell words, and you can tell he was a little embarrassed.
There's only like 3 words I could read in a child book. It was cat, dog, that was it.
I typically help people with things like housing, transportation, childcare. With Robert, it was a little bit different. He really struggled with confidence, with reading, writing, and spelling.
It's very embarrassing, but I'm getting better, thanks to Ms. Lauren James. Laura would see me every week, and we sat in the training room for a couple hours.
I printed out some handwriting worksheets that have the different furniture that we get here at Goodwill, and he could trace them over and over to work on his letter formations.
I said, hey, all right, I'm doing this, She showed interest and wanted to help, and no one else would. She treated me with total respect and understanding. I read a book for the first time, and I never read a book my whole life.
And he read it out loud to me with no mistakes. And of course, we were both excited that he had this big milestone in his life at age 65.
Now I look forward to read things at work. I'm filling out the forms better, the price tags, you have to write the words on and the prices.
Now when I talked to him, he said 2 of his favorite new words were magnificent and stupendous. He would never say such positive words when I first met him. By building the confidence, even in just reading and writing, it's really had a positive impact on the rest of his life.
Well, I just tell Robert often that if anyone else has been through what he's been through with his past, they would have quit long ago. Like, he is so strong and he is so determined. All he really has is his Goodwill family. So he's just strong.
When you're there, this is like one big family, and it's such a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Once you're a nobody, then to become somebody, that's an amazing feeling to have.
Of course, it chokes me up. I love what Robert says, that once you were a nobody and then become a somebody, it's a very special time. We are all inspired by Robert. The Mighty Quinn permits us to say the word ass, and work your ass off. She led with it, so I guess I can say it. Robert and all the Roberts Goodwill supports and creates opportunities for is why we work our asses off at Goodwill. Couple slides to go, and then look forward to a conclusion to wrap up this wonderful morning. Again, I feel so inspired yet overwhelmed to be following Aaron, the Mighty Quinn, and Bean. Bean, you mentioned that you were Grumpy Bean? No, Mean Bean. Mean Bean. I don't know if any of you go to 7-Eleven when you're a little tired driving home like I was from BC last night, but I went and got my favorite little energy coffee drink. It's called a Mean Bean. And now I heard today that there is actually a real Mean Bean. So I've pulled my little marker out. If you go to 7-Eleven or any other convenience store in the next couple of weeks and you go up there and take one of those Mean Beans, I think it's with the M on it, whatever brand that is, what's it called, that choice of drink with the M, doesn't matter. But all the Mean Beans are going to have Friendly Bean with this marker stroked out on there. So if you get a Friendly Bean at 7-Eleven, you know I've been there within 24 hours of you being there. So wanted to end with what I call the heartbeat of Goodwill. Career connections, Goodwill at work, the whole mission development side of Goodwill. I know we have operations team members here from all of our stores. I get that. And every time I call the career connections and the mission impact portfolio, the heartbeat of Goodwill, I hear after. Well, the stores and all that are the fuel and the engine to what we do. The heartbeat of Goodwill is this team here. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what we do there. Our head office is headquartered here on White Avenue, just a few blocks away, second floor of our store. If you ever want to go and have a great shower of joy, you look up the team at Career Connections. Many of those wonderful team members are here today. Go to White Avenue, go to that store. Some of the statistics here in terms of the impact the heartbeat of Goodwill makes each and every day. And it'll segue into something we're very excited to announce in a second. We're CARF certified. We've won a number of awards for tremendous opportunities that are being created for people with unique abilities and barriers. And the Career Connections team is a big part of that. And again, what I call the heartbeat of Goodwill. Bean, if you don't mind, the next one. Commercial services is part of this incredible portfolio of Goodwill called Mission Impact. Our manager is over here. I think I saw him earlier. Lucas is right there. Lucas leads a team of now 32 or 33 team members with disabilities. We work with companies around the capital city region, including Suncor, Nedcor, and all the other ors. I don't know if I'm putting ors onto those, Lucas. We partner with Hughes Car Wash for wiper claws. We partner with the co-op grocery stores and gas bars to create cleaning cloths out of towels that didn't sell at Goodwill. We are now very proud of our 90% waste diversion rate. We are the top Goodwill in Canada for waste diversion. Mortimer, our Director of Sustainability and Innovation, is the big driver behind that. He's been with us almost 5 years and really reinventing how we do things at Goodwill. Yes, we change lives through the dignity of a job and the power of work, but we're one of the most high-performance environmental organizations in Alberta. Now in the capital city region, 90% waste diversion, 87% or so in Calgary, and when we open our amazing Calgary Impact Center in a couple months, we'll get to that 90%. So again, we partner with many organizations through Lucas's team to create opportunities for a number of team members with disabilities in creating electrical conduits for eventual end user TELUS Corporation. We create wiper cloths, cleaning cloths, candles, solar panels we're putting together, and our big partner in the last couple of years has been Suncor Energy as we assemble bolt kits for that incredible company. So that's Goodwill at work. And this is the announcement. Oh, Bean, I was going to leave. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. Heather, if she was here, she'd do a much better job of this. Our Vice President of Mission Impact, she wrote the proposal, and it was accepted. Heather, everybody's pointing at you. There you are, right on. Heather, as I've proudly said in the last 10 years, we've always had a leader at Goodwill overseeing our mission team. And it's always been a leader that let those team members excel. The job coaches, the job development specialists, and all the others. And that was a maintenance job. Let them exceed expectations. Let them help us partner with community organizations and otherwise. This is the first leader at Mission Impact. We actually named the portfolio, renamed it, who's building opportunities in addition to supporting wonderful team members in career connections from Spruce Grove to St. Albert and everywhere in between. We're proud to announce what's on screen now. It'll kick off in November. We've gained a tremendous contract opportunity through our partner with the province of Alberta. It's called the Employee Inclusion Accelerator. We will hire dedicated team members to go out and work with caring community companies in the community to learn about the opportunity to hire persons with disabilities. We've done it for years in terms of disability awareness training and stuff. We will now hire up to 6 dedicated team members that will go out and work with companies to create a pathway to employment and a pathway to success, teaching and encouraging and mentoring these wonderful corporations to hire team members with disabilities. So we're very proud to announce today we've recently got that contract. 6 hirings will take place. I think, Heather, I hope that's the number I'm supposed to use. It's called the Employee Inclusion Accelerator. Very, very excited for this project. Thank you and congratulations to Heather who delivered that opportunity. So, Bean, if you don't mind, if there's another one to go, there's her contact information. And a couple closing statements in terms of the belief at Goodwill for the work we have the pride and opportunity and honor of doing on behalf of Albertans with barriers and persons with disabilities. Bean, was there another one after that? All right, I think that's the final one, if I'm correct. We'll hold it on that one. It really speaks a lot to what we're doing at Goodwill in partnership with many of you. I'd like to thank our speakers. Doug will be doing that. I'd also like to close with that this was the very stage that another president and CEO inspired me. I think that was your CEO, Michelle, a number of years ago. Dave Mowat. Has anyone heard of Dave Mowat, the former president and CEO of ATB Financial? First of all, ATB Financial is an incredible bank. That's our bank. We're very proud to be a partner of ATB as they help us build incredible opportunities. It was in this room at a stakeholder consultation about 7 years ago where Dave was on stage and he was being interviewed by the CFO at the time. I can't remember who that was. And it was like a David Letterman chat. And this room was full. And I was here, very, very proud lifetime ATB personal customer. And we had transitioned to ATB, so I was in this room and listening to Dave Mowat, who I think is an incredible leader. And he was being interviewed. And about 2 or 3 minutes into the discussion, the CFO asked him a question, and Dave said, Who made that stupid decision? And I thought, ooh, that was pretty gutsy with a room full of bankers and business leaders. And from the very back row, a young man yelled out, Dave, that was your stupid idea. And I thought, wow, I don't know about many banks, but you call the CEO that, you mentioned it's his stupid idea? And Dave said, well, Cody, thank you very much. Yes, that was my stupid idea. And on again, and about 2 minutes later, the same thing. Well, who made that silly decision? And that was you again, Dave, 2 for 2. And who Cody was Dave's strategic advisor. I don't know if you ever heard of the story of Cody and Dave. Cody was teamed up with Dave through Inclusion Alberta, a tremendous organization across Alberta that supports persons with disabilities. And Cody had unique abilities. Cody was Dave's unofficial strategic advisor. And for many a time, and Dave spoke at his retirement about how Cody helped him make some pretty tough decisions where they'd sit in the office and he'd say, Cody, if it was up to you, what would you do? And Cody often would say, number one, don't listen to any of your advisors. Go with your gut, Dave. Go with your heart. If your gut and your heart are aligned, everything will work out. And to this day, Dave always speaks about Cody with unique abilities coming from Inclusion Alberta as being a very special friend of his and mentor. And again, to me, Dave Mowat is a big person who I've looked up to as a CEO for Better Tomorrows. And it was right here in this theater 7 years ago on this very stage that my heart was ignited and excited based on Cody's story with Dave. So thank you to our speakers. I close with my favorite quote. Achieving perfection is impossible, but in chasing perfection, we catch excellence in changing lives for the better through the dignity of a job and the power of work. Thank you for this morning.
Thank you, Dale. Don't go too far. Don't go too far. I'm going to put you on the spot. I threw you off just before you came up here. You did not expect that. So am I fired?
No, you're promoted. That was a good move.
No, but we had Michael come up here to introduce you for a reason, not only because he's the vice president of First Impressions at Goodwill. He's also a Special Olympian golfer, but his dream is also to become CEO. He wants to help his ability in speaking in front of people like yourself. So thank you for enjoying his performance here today. Why do these people inspire you, Dale?
Well, I think as Quinn showed us through food, especially, that if you put a number of layers together, it makes an incredible cupcake, especially with a cherry on top. She taught us through her presentation that no matter your unique abilities, no matter what life has dealt you, you have a choice. You take the negative or you take the positive in terms of a route. And I believe at Goodwill, why I go to work, why I get so excited and ignited every day, is the opportunity every day to make a profound difference in the life of somebody. I didn't know that, first impression, your way, Michael, was one that it was, where I came out and really was interested in getting to know you, but I didn't know that that was a moving moment. CEOs are nothing more than just a title, and we're all equal on earth in terms of our opportunity to make a difference. One of my 4 personal performance drivers is to exceed the expectations of a total stranger every day. Well, through my work, I believe I'm attempting to do that along with a lot of incredible Goodwillians here and across Alberta, that we can every day make such a difference.
We had some tremendous speakers up on stage. What's your takeaways from today?
From all of them, I have my list over there. I put it down. I actually had 6 or 7. A takeaway for me is just a reaffirmation of that we're all one people. This is an incredible world. Yes, there's evil and negativity and all that jazz. That's the 3% factor. If we focus on the 97% of people who are wonderful, all looking for a day to smile and to enjoy life, friends, family, and otherwise, the focus on the positivity is my takeaway, and the ability to make a profound difference by just caring.
Ladies and gentlemen, President and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Alberta, Dale Monaghan.
Thank you.